The number one thing you should be doing for your gains, besides training, is sleeping. Sleep is probably the most underrated thing for building muscle. It's better than every single drug, every single supplement. There's nothing out there that you could do or that you could take that is going to have a bigger effect on your progress than how well you sleep. So today I am going to be going over all the things that I do and all the things that I know of that you could do to optimize your sleep. But I don't want to waste your time, so let's get right into it. So the first thing I do for my sleep actually starts in the morning, and that is I make sure to get sunlight in my eyes within the first 30 minutes after waking. What this does is it kind of locks in something called your circadian rhythm, which you can kind of think of as your body's very own clock that determines when your body is going to wake up and when your body is going to start winding down for sleep. Viewing sunlight in the morning has many positive effects, like increasing focus and alertness throughout the day, positive effects on the immune system, and it also improves your ability to fall asleep and stay asleep at night. So the second thing I do for my sleep is I wear blue light blockers about 2 hours before I go to sleep. Unless you didn't know, blue light is a type of light that makes us more alert. And blue light in itself is not a bad thing, but before bed you really want to limit your exposure to blue light, because if you view it too late in the evening, it can really disrupt your sleep. Blue light blockers are very cheap, so you can just go and buy a pair on Amazon or eBay, and it's a very small investment you can make to give your sleep a little bit of an extra boost. The third thing I do for my sleep is I try to keep my environment as dark as possible within about an hour before sleep. This is basically common sense, but looking at a bunch of bright lights before you go to bed, looking at your phone before you go to bed, makes it way harder for us to fall asleep and stay asleep. Now, of course, you don't have to have your environment completely pitch black, but I would opt for candle lights or red lights in the evening, because these do not negatively affect your sleep. The only room you really want completely pitch black is your bedroom. The fourth thing I do is I try to keep the room that I sleep in relatively cold. For you to even be able to fall asleep, your core body temperature needs to drop by 1 to 3 degrees. So if you're too warm, you won't be able to fall asleep. But if you're too cold, you also won't be able to fall asleep. So you want to keep the room that you sleep in as cold as possible without it being so cold that it's uncomfortable and you can't fall asleep for that reason. So another thing that I do, which is not really like a sleep hack or a sleep thing, but I still wanted to include it in this video, is I do cold exposure every single morning. So while this might not improve your sleep all that much, what I do find it does is it wakes me up really quick in the morning, which I just find very useful. So you don't have to do this to improve your sleep, because I'm not really sure if it does, but you can definitely use it to feel more awake in the morning. Another great thing to do in the morning is to just get some light movement in. This could be anything like stretching, a short walk, jumping jacks, jump rope. Like, it doesn't really matter, just move around a bit. What this will do is further lock in that circadian rhythm that I spoke of before, which is really important. Another thing, which is probably one of my favorite things for sleep, is heat exposure before bed. So this could be something like a hot shower, a hot bath, or a sauna. The reason this improves your sleep is because when you heat the surface of your skin, your core body temperature actually cools down. And as I said earlier, for you to even be able to fall asleep, your core body temperature needs to drop by 1 to 3 degrees. I notice every single time I do this, I fall asleep way easier and I sleep way deeper than usual. So this is like one of my favorite things you can do for your sleep. It's absolutely amazing. Now, something you want to avoid is intense exercise within 2 hours before bedtime. Now, you might think that intense exercise will actually make you tired and make it easier for you to fall asleep, but this is actually not true. And if you don't believe me, try doing 20 push-ups before you go to bed. I can promise you, unless you are very sleep deprived, you are going to have a very hard time falling asleep. Now, if you for some reason have to work out close to bedtime, it's not the end of the world, but ideally you want to avoid it. Another thing you want to avoid is eating and drinking anything within the 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. If you eat or drink anything too close to bedtime, your body will divert its energy to digest the food instead of repairing the body. But if you're so hungry you can't fall asleep, it's better if you eat something. But again, ideally you want to avoid it. As I also said, you don't want to be drinking anything too close to bedtime, especially not anything containing caffeine or alcohol, because these things can really have a big negative impact on your sleep. The last thing I do every single night before I go to bed is I tape my mouth shut. Now what this does is it helps prevent snoring and it makes you breathe through your nose, which is just way better for your overall health than breathing through your mouth. Plus, breathing through your mouth has been shown to give you a recessed jawline and bad airways, which you don't want.
Yo boys, I was just editing this video and I realized I forgot to add probably one of the most important points, which is having a regular bedtime schedule. So this is absolutely foundational for your sleep. You really need to go to sleep at the same time and wake up at the same time every single day, including weekends. Now, of course, there's going to be times where you can't do this, or you're up late working, or you're at a dinner or something, and that's all good. But ideally, you want to wake up and go to sleep at the same time every single day. This is one of the most important things. If you don't do this, your sleep is not going to be very good. So yeah, remember that. See you boys.
But that was all for this video. If you learned anything new from this video, I would really appreciate if you liked it, and if you want to see more videos like this one, don't forget to click the subscribe button so you can be notified the next time I upload. But with that being said, throughout filming this video, I have realized I desperately need a haircut. But with that being said, I'll see you in the next one.